It has been a very long time since I did a Q&A, question and answer video. I don't even remember the last time. But recently, I asked you guys to leave questions in the comments and you did not disappoint. So today I will be answering them. And I have also asked for questions for my husband, Paul, so we can do a Q&A together because several of you have asked about him since he hasn't been in a video of mine in a while. We got a bunch of questions for him or for both of us too. So we'll do another video sometime soon where he joins me and we answer those questions. But if you have a question for him or for both of us, please leave it in the comment section of this video and I will add it to that list. The questions that I'm answering today are the ones that we received that are more directed at me than him. So they're primarily about handbags, like my motivations around selecting them or how I store them or how I use so many, as well as other questions. And then at the end, I'll answer some of the questions that were more personal in nature. So stay tuned. And welcome, I'm Autumn Beckman and I'm here to help you live your most luxurious life within your budget. I post new videos on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, so please make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of those, and so you don't miss my daily community posts where I share the best sales of the day and fabulous handbags that I find. Also, don't miss my website, autumnbeckman.com/shop. It's linked in the description box below. That is where you can find handbags and accessories that I have for sale, as well as my planner pages, which I have designed to help you plan and organize your handbags and your life. For example, the item tracker page is where you can track all the information about your handbags and small goods. Or I have several different layouts of calendar pages, so you can choose the one that works best for you. And many of them include a section to track your bag of the day. And there are tons more pages too, so check that out on the website. So let's jump right into the questions. Laura asks, what motivates you to purchase a bag? Is it primarily as a work of art, as a functional item, or a resale factor? I don't think I've purchased any of my bags as works of art. I'm trying to think if there are exceptions. I know that I do have a small collection of artist collaborations. For example, this little guy here, which is the Coach Beat 18 from the Basquiat collection. I'll give you a quick little spin of that. But I don't think of this as a work of art so much as I think of it as a bag with art on it. And I'm not sure I think of any handbags, at least any that come to mind right now, as works of art so much as works of design and of craft, which are certainly elements of art. But I would say I purchase them more as functional pieces. I do prefer bags I can use, but I do also have a few. I still have all my bags out from doing the collection video. If you missed that, I will link it below. I do still have a few very impractical bags that I would never carry as a bag. It's more like a decoration, but primarily function. But even before function, I have to love the way the bag looks, and it has to be at a price point that I'm comfortable with for that bag. You also asked about resale value, and is that a factor? Not when I'm buying a bag, no. But I would say that most of my bags do tend to hold their resale value well. When I originally started purchasing luxury brand bags like Louis Vuitton, that was a bigger factor, because at that point I had never spent that much money, around $1,000 or more, on a handbag before, and that was kind of crazy to me. But knowing that if I needed that money back, I could turn around and sell that bag and get maybe what I paid for it, maybe almost what I paid, or sometimes more than what you pay. That was very, very helpful. Maybe the primary reason that I started buying luxury bags. Well, not the primary reason, because I wanted the bags, but that was the primary reason that allowed me to justify spending the money on those bags. Next question. This is from Eileen. She said she was new to the channel from the Walmart Birkin video. I know there are a lot of people like that, which is one reason that I wanted to do the Q&A. She asks, have you bought any luxury bags from secondhand websites that have authenticated goods? Yes, absolutely. That is a huge part of what my channel is about. The primary way that I help educate you guys on how to get luxury bags within a budget, whatever your budget might be, is to look at the resale market. Because like I just said, some bags will hold their value, some will go up, but a lot of them go way down. And you can find incredible deals like I have, and I show those to you guys, on bags on the secondhand market. For example, this Fendi Celleria Peekaboo, these retail for, I haven't looked lately, maybe $5,000, maybe $6,000. I got it for about $1,200 on the resale market. Or this Fendi Peekaboo, I always have to bring this one closer. This is perhaps my favorite bag in my entire collection. This bag retailed if I remember correctly, for about $6,800, somewhere around there. And I got it for about $1,000. Or this bag, the Louis Vuitton Suhali Locket. This was one of Louis Vuitton's higher end bags when this was in stores. And it retailed for several $1,000s. I'm gonna guess maybe $3,000 or $4,000. I got this for the low price of $400. That's right, $400. I still can't believe that. And it's immaculate, it's gorgeous. And that's one of the main reasons I have been able to afford so many amazing bags, is because I look for deals on them. So yes, I absolutely have shopped the Preloved market. Eileen's next question is, are there any secondhand websites you recommend for buying luxury bags? Yes, there are. I have lots of videos on them and they're always linked in the description box below. So just check that out and you can go right to them. And she asks, do you have any advice for people when considering or purchasing a bag from a secondhand site? I do. I have videos on this too. I'll try to find a few of those and link them in the description too, but off the top of my head, I would say read the policies, especially the return policies. And if they have a bad return policy, but they have a bag that you really want, especially if it's in great condition at a great price, to make sure you look very closely at the photographs, blow them up, look at details, even take screenshots and blow those up if you can. That sometimes is more helpful than just the magnifiers on those websites. Look for any defects. Also, when you find a bag you're interested in, Google that bag. Do a search to find other bags to see the prices of those, to see the conditions, to make sure that you're getting a good price, if price is a factor for you. And check some of the details to kind of double check authenticity. Because a lot of these sites, they will say that they guarantee authenticity. However, there is no one on the planet that knows every detail of every handbag that's ever been made. So there is no one who can authenticate 100% every bag. We can certainly give these companies some of our trust because they are making effort to do this and they do have some education about it. But especially for bigger purchases or things that might be a little questionable, you're not familiar with them, check that item with other items on the internet to make sure that things line up and are the same. Do your own research is what I'm saying. Karen asks, how do you store all your designer bags? She says, do you display them all and do you keep them in their dust bags? So I store them on different shelving units. I have the two behind me here where the bags are more spread out because it's the background for the video. I have another bookcase just like this, but it has 5 shelves right around the corner here. I'll link my office tour video below because that shows how I store some of my bags. I have a closet where I have some bags stored. That's where I keep some bags that I don't want to get a lot of light because they're behind a closed door. And then I have a few other shelving units too. They're not really displayed other than the ones right behind me here. And the vast majority of them I do not keep in dust bags. And that's only because I've tried that before. And when I'm going to get dressed in the morning and look for a bag to wear, it's too hard to remember what's in each of them, even with a small collection. So I need them to be out of the dust bag so I can see what I have and select the best option for the day. Bubbles, it's B-U-B-L-S, asks, how do you organize your twillies? I will show you. I keep them on this hanger right here. I'll bring it closer so you can see the hanger better. It's a scarf hanger, so it has 3 layers of these circles. Some of them are bigger than others, but most are this size. And I think that's perfect for twillies. Now, the ones underneath, on the lower layers, it's a little harder to see, so sometimes I need to move these out of the way. So I've been thinking about getting a second hanger and dividing them up so I can see them a little better. But that's all of them right there. And I have each of them folded in half, and then I put them through the loop like that so that they're not even longer. But I will link this hanger below so you can find it easily if you'd like to get one. Josephine asks, in your bag collection, with so many brands and so many price points, how do you narrow down to the ones you love? She says, do you have a specific style, size, or materials that you like, and do you rule out certain brands and why? So I generally don't rule out brands just because there are so many brands, but I certainly do have my favorites like Louis Vuitton and Coach. I'm a little bit unsure on how to answer this one because I'm not sure if she's asking like how do I pick bags within my collection to wear, or how do I pick bags in the world to add to my collection? I kind of answered that second one earlier. The style, and then often the functionality, and then the price point. In terms of specific styles, sizes, and materials, I do tend to prefer leather or coated canvas, but I also like textures. But I've had to, since we moved to Oregon last year from Texas, I have had to be more conscious of the materials that I buy a bag in or that I pull to wear for the day because it rains here so much. So I have to be careful with things like vachetta, the raw leather, or with a texture like shearling, for example, something that could absorb water or be damaged by water. Styles and sizes, there are a bunch of them that I love. I love small bags up to giant totes. So size isn't much of a factor for me. The style, that's probably where I've ruled things out. The color is another thing too. I tend to buy neutral bags or cool toned bags. I tend to stay away from warm colors like reds, oranges, and yellows because those don't work for me. I don't reach for them. I love totes. I have found lately more and more I'm loving flap bags, any kind of bag that has a flap on it. I'm drawn to that. I love bucket bags. I also love satchels. I've been really drawn toward top handle bags lately too. So I'm not sure if I've answered that question very well, but those are a few of the factors that come into play. Dutch X Fangirl asks, do you use all the bags? How often do you rotate, and what are your plans with this collection? Do I use all the bags? No, I don't. Have I used most of them at some point? Yes. There are a few that I tend to gravitate more toward than others. Lately, that is my Coach Times Square tabbies. I've been wearing these a lot. Some bags, like I said earlier, are purely decoration. Some bags, like this one, the Beat 18, I've had this for a few years. I have never worn it. I bought it with the intention to wear it, but it's a little small for me. So this has become, to me, more of a collector's piece, and I have a few pieces that are like that. And one of my problems with not wearing some of the bags is that I have them in cabinets that I don't look in every time I'm getting dressed to pick out a bag. I even forget to look at these behind me because I think of this as my YouTube background and not a place where I keep some of my bags that are available for me to wear. So I forget they're there, which is so silly because they're so obviously right in the middle of the room here. And that's one of the reasons that I recently added to my planner page collection pages that are all about tracking the bags that you're wearing. I designed a few different ways to do that, so you can pick the way that's best for you. What I'm finding really helpful right now is that little bag of the day section on the calendar pages. I have been tracking my bags that way. And what that does is make me think about my bags more often. Let's say I pick up the Times Square tabby on a Thursday. Well, I can see that I wore that on Monday, so that might make me go pick something else instead. And it's getting me to be more conscious about using more variety in my collection. Second question was, how often do you rotate? Every day. Or every day that I carry a bag, I carry a different bag. And she asks, what are your plans with this collection? I'm not entirely sure what that means. It's my personal collection, so my plan is to keep it until I don't want it anymore for some reason, particular bags. I'm pretty good at doing clear outs once or twice a year, passing along bags that I haven't used and don't care as much about anymore. Although when I'm taking photographs and listing them, I do often find that I fall in love with them again, and sometimes I decide to keep it instead of sell it. This bag is a prime example of that. Longchamp pliage tote in what looks like a raffia but isn't a raffia. I have almost put this bag in blog sales twice, and twice I have pulled it back and kept it. The reason I think about getting rid of it is that it's a style of bag and material that I have very rare opportunities to use, so it might get used once a year, maybe not that often. And it's kind of a big bag. It takes up a lot of space on the shelf. So do I really need to keep it? But then I pull it out and I remember how beautiful it is and how impossible it would be to find again, and I decide not to let it go. So it's still with me. Capinulto asks, I recently discovered 2 Hermes bags which aren't as popular as the Birkin, the Bolide and the Plume. I'll put pictures of these up. They say they'd love to hear my thoughts on them. The Bolide bag I am familiar with. It's a similar shape to the Alma, a domed bag with top handles. I think that style of bag is beautiful, but it's not a style that works for me. I know this because I tried it once in an inexpensive bag style. The zippers, having the 2 zippers and having to go around curves every time you open and close the bag, because this isn't a bag you can just leave open and it still looks nice. You have to zip it up. That didn't work for me. It was just too fussy. The Plume, I didn't know what that was. I had to look it up. It is this boxy tote with top handles and a zipper across the middle. My first thought when I saw this was it looks like a lunch bag. In fact, I have this lunch bag from Corksicle. It looks very much like that. I think that's very pretty. I think it has a vintage look to it, like bowler bags like this, where it's kind of boxy. Now this one is curved, more trapezoidal, but it has that zipper across the middle. And what's annoying about these kinds of bags is that when you unzip it, you still have to open the bag, sometimes with some force, to be able to get inside. And sometimes you need 3 hands to be able to do that easily. And though I found that that particular bag, the Coach Burrow bowling bag, that one works well for me. I have found that bags like the Plume generally do not. I'm thinking of like camera bags, and it's because of that opening. But this bag style, the rectangular boxy with the zipper and the top handles, is so popular right now. Miu Miu has their version. That really blew up in 2024, and there have been lots of bags that have a similar shape that have come out since then. So if that's the kind of bag you like, and you can find an Hermes one, whether it's in store or the Preloved market, I haven't looked at these, so I'm totally guessing here, but I would guess that you could probably find some decent deals on this on the Preloved market. Maybe not. I'll see if I can find some and link them below for you. David of David's Closet, who's a friend of mine here on YouTube, and I will link his channel below. Please go check it out. He asks, what is your current holy grail or dream bag? David, I have been thinking about this question, and to be very honest with you, I can't come up with anything. I currently don't have a holy grail or a dream bag. I could say something like the Hermes Birkin or the Kelly, right? But they're not really my holy grail bags. I would love to have one, but they're not even on my wish list because the price point is so far out of my budget, or at least what I would be willing to pay for a single bag. And I would also say that there are 2 bags in my collection currently that have been holy grail dream bags for me. And because I was able to acquire those, I currently don't have another holy grail bag. So let me show you those 2. One is my Chanel reissue in the 227. That's the size of the bag. This one is in the color bronze. I would have been happy with this bag in a variety of colors, but this bronze is perfect for me. I got it pre-loved for far less than retail. Don't these go for around $9,000? Are they more than that now? Currently brand new. And I got this for a little more than $3,000 a couple years ago, which was a really good deal at the time. A lot of them were going for $5,000 or more. And this one is in like new condition. It has the box, the full package. Very, very fortunate to have this. I never thought that I would have one of these. The classic flap I've never been interested in because it's too structured. This is a little more smushy, and I like that a lot better. Holy Grail. And the other Holy Grail piece in my collection that I looked for years, and I thought I might never find one, and if I did find one it would be in terrible condition because they've been out for a while and used and they can get kind of gross. It is this, the Louis Vuitton Neverfull in the turquoise V with the incredible turquoise interior. And I also have a turquoise bag organizer in there. And look at this, I'll bring it closer. This vachetta is like brand new. The entire bag is like brand new. I'm not sure the person who had it before me ever even carried it. It is gorgeous. And it came with the pouch, which is hard to find sometimes. I have 2 questions that are very similar here. Josephine asks, if you could choose 5 or 10 bags with price being no object, what would you have in that collection? And it's either Bob in a Buddy or Bobina Buddy asks, you can only keep 12. Which would you choose? I wrote them back and asked, because I was thinking about this question, and I was thinking I kind of need like 12 that I can use and 12 that are more collector pieces. And would that be cheating? And they said it wouldn't. I think for these questions, that deserves another video just by itself. So I'm going to put that on my video list. And Because says the necklace that you're wearing in this video, this comment was on the video where I showed my entire bag collection. And it was this necklace. I'll bring it closer. She says, this necklace is lovely and your jewelry collection is awesome, and I'd like you to tell us some facts about the stones or the artisans. So let's look at this. I'll show you 3 pieces in one here. My wedding ring, the necklace she was talking about, and then this ring. So the necklace is from Alexis Bitar. A lot of the pieces you'll see me wearing in videos these days are Alexis Bitar. The big piece in the middle is lucite, which is hand carved. And then around the edges you have crystals that are set in gold and silver. And then my ring down here is by my friend and fellow YouTuber, Jill Maurer. And I have videos on her pieces, so I will link those below. I also have a video on my wedding ring, so I will link that below. I haven't done a video yet on my Alexis Bittar collection. I've been thinking about doing one, so if you're interested, let me know in the comment section and I'll do that. I also have a collection of Native American jewelry. I have done a video on that, so I will link that below. And any other jewelry collections that I have done and can find, I will link below in the description box. And now we get to the more personal questions. So Karen asks, was it worthwhile doing that 2-year journal? So what she's talking about is recently in a video, I talked about this journal from Erin Condren, which is a 2-year journal. So it has like a section for a paragraph and another paragraph where every day for a year, you write a paragraph. And then every day for another year, underneath last year's date, you write another paragraph from this year's date. So for example, on January 1st of 2023, you'd have a paragraph here. And then January 1st of 2024, you would have a paragraph right below it. And that way when the book is done, you can go back and read the whole thing and see day by day for 2 years. Does that make sense? So I recently finished that book. She says, was it worthwhile doing it? And since you've moved and aren't teaching, I imagine last year's journal entries were starkly different from this year's, but please do tell. So yes, it was worthwhile, but it also wasn't. So I'll explain that. It was worthwhile because of the time period that this book happened to fall across. The 2 years that I documented in this book, and I didn't know this was going to happen when I started it, happened to be the first year where we decided that we were going to move from Texas to Oregon and everything that happened that year. So it ended up being my last year teaching. I was doing that full time. I was also doing YouTube full time. I was also knowing that I wasn't going to be teaching anymore once we moved up here because I didn't want to continue teaching, at least in a traditional school setting. I was also doing a lot of research and learning and online classes about careers I could transition to. And then I was also doing a ton of research on Oregon because at that point we didn't even know what city we wanted to be in. So I was researching cities, and then once we narrowed that down, neighborhoods, and then where we would live specifically, as well as things to do. And we went to Oregon during that year, I think 3 different times. And I'm also the trip planner, so I planned all of those trips and what we would be doing and looking at. They were all research trips to get more information to figure out where we wanted to be up here. So all of that is documented in that book, as well as the move up here, which was a 12-day road trip with my husband and I, our 2 dogs, and my 1 bird at that time, my African gray. I now have 2 parakeets also. And then it also documented our first year in Oregon. Boy, was there a lot that happened there that we weren't expecting. So worthwhile for that reason, yes, very, very meaningful time in my life. A lot of things happened. Now, since I recently finished that book, I have started now in this journal, which is just a regular lined journal, but it's a nice one. It's from Tiffany & Company. Let's see, I finished this book on December 12th. And since then, we're in early January now, I've only written 3 entries in this book. So this was a daily journal, and the problem I found with it was that you could only write a little paragraph each day. There were actually 4 paragraphs per page. And I found most days it wasn't enough space for me. And I ended up, instead of being able to do a proper journal entry with thoughts about things, I ended up doing a lot of just lists of what I was doing that day or what I did the previous day. So in this journal, I'm doing more traditional journal entries where I'm writing what's happening, but also what I think about it and feel about it and all those things, which is more meaningful writing for me, more helpful writing. And I don't feel that I need to do it every day, especially with as lengthy as some of these entries are, several pages. So I'm enjoying that, but I'm also really glad I did the 2-year book. And then Laura says she would like an update on how the job search is going, or if I've decided to make YouTube and printables my main job. First of all, one clarification, printables I don't do. The planner pages are things that I print myself and then people will buy them and I ship the pages to you. So a printable, the way I define it at least, is where you might buy a digital copy of something that you then download and you can print it yourself at home, which is not something that I do. Job search. When we moved up here, the plan was that I would take some time to work on YouTube and move in and get settled and all that, and then find a job working for somebody else, because that's what I've always done, other than working YouTube as a second job. But I had the resources to be able to do only YouTube for quite a while. So I did that, and it was a bit of an experiment to see whether I could do that only full time and just work for myself and not have to work for somebody else. Because if I'm working for somebody else, I'm doing this too. So then I'm working 2 jobs instead of just 1. And after doing only this for a few months and being here and seeing how our lifestyle has changed, and after many conversations with Paul, we both decided mutually that the best decision for both of us for the foreseeable future is for me to work for myself. So I'm doing YouTube, 3 videos a week. I also have the planner side of my business. I also have reselling handbags as part of that business. That's something that I've been bringing in. I've done vlog sales before, but I'm now at a point where I've been buying bags to resell, cleaning them up and then selling them. And sometimes I also use them in videos to help illustrate points, usually coach videos. And I also have several other projects that I am working on or that are in my head or I have notes about for the future. One of the big lessons I have learned lately is that I have big ambitions, I have ideas, I have lots of things that I want to do, but I've come to realize I am only one person and one person can only do so much at one time. So things are taking longer than I've anticipated, longer than I want them to, but that's because I have the freedom working for myself to set my own timelines, my own schedules, and also to be as creative as I want, to go as in-depth as I want, to be as much of a perfectionist as I want. And I also have time to learn all the time, taking online classes, reading books, doing webinars, watching videos. I'm constantly learning about all kinds of things. And I'm constantly making notes and working in my journals and planning things and then organizing that and then trying to implement things. In 2024, if you're familiar with our moving story that year where the storm in January of 2024, this big winter storm, opened an opportunity for us to move to a larger apartment. But it took from January to August, maybe September, I don't remember now, for us to actually move because the apartment wasn't ready yet. But meanwhile, during that whole time, we were in this state of limbo because we were told it would be next month, next month, next month. And that meant there were a lot of things that I wanted to do but couldn't do because I was always on that really short timeline if we might be moving in the next few weeks. So I wasn't able to do nearly as much last year as I wanted to do. But this year, we're in the new place, we're settled, and I've already been able to do a lot. And so far it's going well, and we're really happy here, and we'll talk more about some of that in the video with Paul. But I hope that answers that question. The income part of it comes from many different things, as you probably just figured out. So stay tuned. I don't know when it'll be up. Might be next week, might be next month, for the Q&A video with my husband Paul. That'll be fun. People always enjoy when he's on with me. Thank you so much for watching today. Remember, you can leave comments for that video if you'd like in the comment section below. And remember to check out the links in the description box to my website and to whatever else I mentioned in this video. So thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Hope to see you back here next time, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye.